Welcome. Welcome to the Homeless Youth Project. I'm Ron Austin, and the Homeless Youth Project is a Pan Left Productions project in partnership with the Carlos G Figueroa Foundation. I had told people that I've had an announcement tonight, and that announcement is that the Homeless Youth Project documentary is done. So you get the opportunity to see the documentary at our screening at Armory Park on March 2nd from 10 to 2 p.m. The documentary is only a half hour long. You say, well, why is the period from 10 to 2 so long? Well, that's because we're going to have some other things going on at the same time. We're going to have a wellness clinic with Healer, Heal Thyself. We're going to have Anselmo Rascon, master photographer. He's got an exhibition of the Forgotten Ones. That's about homeless people. We're going to have Karen Ulick, who's going to be do the welcome, and Brian Flagg is going to be the host. We're also going to have Doug Davis and Indic Soul. There's going to be background music with Larry Loud. He plays the piano. And then there's also going to be appetizers. So come on out, March 2nd, 10 to 2 at Armory Park, and you'll get to see the final showing, or not necessarily the showing, but the final product of the Homeless Youth Project. Anyway, as you know, I generally have a guest on my show. And my guest today is John McLane. He's the co-founder of Safe Park and Occupy Public Lands. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
Yes.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, John, I imagine most people in the city have some concept of Safe Park, but give us a synopsis of what it is.
Well, for the past 2.5 years, our group, Occupy Public Land, has been fighting to decriminalize sleeping because we came to the conclusion that between the hours of 10:30 p.m. and 7 a.m., there is nowhere outside for a homeless person to sleep in the city of Tucson. So through the court process, through the criminal court, from getting arrested and by filing a federal lawsuit against the city of Tucson, we finally have a place in between Broadway and Congress on Church where people can legally sleep 24 hours a day without fear of arrest.
So what do you expect to accomplish with this? Are you going to expand it, or what's the concept beyond Safe Park?
Well, with Safe Park, and like I said, we fought 2.5 years for it. We felt like that was a win. Like we finally have a safe, legal place to sleep. But in the same, it's a protest. You have a whole bunch of homeless people sleeping on the sidewalk in protest of the criminalization of homelessness. And the reason that it's a crime to be homeless is because we don't have any campsites in the city of Tucson. We don't have anywhere where people can go to the bathroom 24 hours a day or even grab a shower so they can make it to work the next day. So our demand, and we only have one demand, is a 24-hour community center where people can go to the bathroom, use a shower, use a locker, maybe plug in their electricity, and have a safe place to sleep. If the city were to go through, whether it was with the businesses or with the community to do that, then it wouldn't be a crime to be homeless in the city of Tucson any longer.
In the bottom of your screen, you'll see a telephone number. If you want to ask John some questions, ask me some questions, or both of us, we can have a conversation if you choose. Call that number. So what does it look like? There's going to be a possibility of some sort of facility available for the homeless?
Well, definitely it seems like for the first time, at least since I've seen it, we're moving toward that conversation. We had a community forum in the lower level of the library last Saturday, and there was over 125 people there. We had a great group of people on the panel. A lot of great ideas were there, and it definitely seemed like I said, for the first time, there's a group of people with some type of influence that are pushing forward on solutions to this collective problem. Whether we'll have a campsite anytime soon, that only time can tell, but it definitely seems like something's going to be done rather than nothing.
Okay, all right. So how's the cooperation with the city or the law enforcement or those people?
Surprisingly well. It's a 180 from when we were occupying that park under the moniker of Occupy Tucson or Occupy Public Land. And we talk with the police now, and we talk with the city officials and the different groups that are associated with this area and homelessness in general. And it's been surprisingly pleasant to.
We've got a phone call coming in here, John. Welcome to the Homeless Youth Project.
Hi, Ron. This is Dennis. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Dennis. How you doing?
Okay. Yourself?
Good.
Good. Ron, I'd just like to say to your guest, it's really a shame that, to be homeless is considered a crime. You know what I mean? Because, most homeless people, I'm sure, like I've told Ron before, most of them are war veterans or abused children or, unfortunate families who, fall into, the economic, downturn of the country, you know what I mean? And it's a shame that they would, classify them as being, criminals when you have, real criminals on the street that we have to worry about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see that, they're finally coming to their senses and giving these poor people, the less fortunate people, a place to where they can sleep and feel safe and, be protected by the police, which is really their job to protect us all. You know what I mean?
Yes, you're correct, Dennis. Yes.
Yep. So, someday, like I told you, Ron, someday, the world is going to realize that we're all brothers and sisters. I've said this before on your show, Ron. And, someday the world will realize that, that's our job to take care of the less fortunate, and, to give them the same opportunity to enjoy life like, the rest of us are here to do, you know what I mean? And try to do,
Yes.
All right, Ron.
I think John wanted to say something.
And I will give you a call again next show. And
I think John wanted to say something to you.
Dennis,
go right
definitely,
ahead, John.
Definitely. I'm completely with you, and I think the thing that we were seeing, and the thing we've seen with this project is, if you let your government get away with whatever they want to, they will.
Yes.
So if whatever change we want to see, whatever answers, whatever solutions we want to see, we have to put our government in a position that they have to address it, and that's pretty much what you've seen with Safe Park. Is with their own law, we boxed them into a corner where they absolutely had to allow for people to exist. So that's
You're right, John.
That's the ticket, and it's
right.
We must never be complacent, and we can't just sit around and waiting for someone else to fix it. The answer is up to us.
Exactly. I'm a 63-year-old hippie who, protested a lot of things during the 70s, and that was the way we got changed, by doing exactly what you're saying. Of course, nonviolent, like Martin Luther King, showed us, and that's really the way to accomplish things, you know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're right. You have to stand up as a group and do things, I believe in civil disobedience, like you guys did, on the side. I believe in that, you know what I mean? Any kind of nonviolent protest in order to achieve a goal that is, right for everybody is perfectly fine with me. And like I say, being from the 60s and 70s, I did the same thing then, and I still believe that you're right, is the way to do it. I wish our college campuses would be a little more active in some of these things, you know what I mean? Because the youth is really who's going to, change the world and step into our shoes someday and be able to make those changes come about.
Yeah, well, I think I wouldn't be surprised, much like we see with sustainability or the green movement, once the legitimacy and the credibility within the movement is built, they will be here. And I think you're seeing it probably just as well as I am. This issue that is homelessness is becoming popular.
Yes.
It's becoming the cool thing to do to help the homeless. It's becoming the cool thing to do to be compassionate. And as soon as
exactly.
this issue is a popular issue, then yeah, everybody's going to be hanging around. So I really look forward to that progression.
Yes, and not only, John, not only is it the cool thing to do, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, John?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a very, firm believer in the Lord. And like I say, He put us all here in order to have the same, chances and to enjoy life all together as brothers and sisters, which really, under God, we really all are.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Ron. Good talking to you, John. Good talking to you. Keep on doing what you're doing. And like you say, I mean, that's the way to make changes. And someday the world is going to come around and see that.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah,
All right,
thanks for calling
take care,
in, brother.
buddy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Don't forget, the bottom of your screen is a telephone number. Just like Dennis called in, you can call in also and have a conversation with either one of us or both of us, or just voice your opinion. So, where were we at? I have no idea.
I think we were talking about homelessness.
Oh, yeah, about that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you was talking about the possibility of acquiring a facility where the homeless could. I think that I've seen somewhere, was it Eugene, Oregon? Got some stuff going on. What's going on there?
Yeah. Well, both in Portland and Eugene, they have campsites there. And I want to think in both those places, they're like public-private land. So it's not ideal the way I would see it. But it's moving more toward the solution of giving people a safe, legal place to sleep. And that's a ticket. And the coolest thing about Portland, and we're actually, a group of us are considering taking a trip up to Portland to kind of do a site visit and research, is they are ahead of the times. They have facilities that are these wet sites that have showers and bathrooms and laundry facilities and places where people can plug in and resources and DMV all in one spot. And that's certainly something that Tucson needs to start looking toward if they want to give people the opportunity to recover, to get back on their feet. If I want to go and I have a job interview on Monday, but I don't have a place to take a shower, I don't have a place to keep my stuff while I go to the interview, I don't have, I'm looking for a place to sleep all day, like that's not a realistic possibility. But once those basic needs are met, then it's realistic to think that someone who is at what is considered the bottom can work their way back up.
Right. And I think some cities across the nation have found out that it's more economical to provide these services, considering the expense of law enforcement and health care and the taxing that some homeless people do on the system. Yes.
Oh yeah, and I think a prime example of that is Utah, which I think you know as well as I do, and their homeless population has gone down by 71% in the past 8 years, and the main method that they put in place to make that be is here in Tucson we have the shelter first model, where you get put in the shelter, get with the case manager, get put on a program to work toward having a house. In Utah, they have a housing first model, where they put you in a house, they get you with a case manager, they put you in a program, and obviously the success rate is through the roof, because there you're looking at a process where you're looking at another human being and treating with a little bit of dignity and respect, not like a child.
Okay. So have you had any results working with the agencies that provide services to homeless?
I want to think the best results that I've had isn't necessarily the agencies, but folks like yourself that work for the agencies.
Individuals.
Yeah. And that's been pretty much the key to Safe Park success, is we have a caring, compassionate citizenry here, and those people have leaned in wherever they seem fit to fill in whatever gaps they see going on at Safe Park. But unfortunately, yeah, it's the industry, the institution that is social service is a little bit cloudy with bureaucracy that I'm not part of.
Yeah.
But the good thing is we haven't had any resistance from those groups. So that's the most important thing, I think, in what we do, is we don't have people standing in our way, even if they're not supporting us directly.
So I want to remind you about the Homeless Youth Project. The Homeless Youth Project documentary is done, And the screening for it will be at Armory Park on March 2nd from 10 to 2. We'll have some other activities going on there. We'll have some appetizers. There'll be a photo exhibition of homeless people. There'll be a wellness clinic. There'll be music and education and good times for all. How about that? Huh?
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I know you've been interviewed a number of times, John, and generally, the interviewee generally asks you questions and such of that nature. But I'm sure that at some point you have something you want to say to the people on your own, to the public. Do you have something that you want to say to them?
Yeah, for sure. Well, the big thing that it always drives me wild as far as the stereotype that's put on the homeless is that the homeless people are lazy, or that homeless people are any more lazy than any other group of people that exist within our society. And they think that it was their choice to go there. They chose to live this lifestyle. And the story I always like to tell is think of an 18-year-old kid who's grew up with parents who had substance abuse issues, who grew up in poverty, who didn't take care of him as well as he should. When he was 18 years old, his parents told him he can't be there anymore. He's out on the streets. He has no resources. He has no education. He grew up completely impoverished, and he's just trying to survive. He's just trying to live. And this kid isn't lazy. He didn't choose to be there. This kid had a hard time. He grew up with a hard life, and because of the conditions around him, he found his way there. And at our park, we have probably 20, 30 people that sleep there every day, and they would cry if someone went up to them and said, hey, I have a good, decent job for you on a consistent basis. But that's not where we're at right now. So my hopes are through this whole voyage that is enlightening people to what the homeless issue is they stop thinking that homeless people are different or demonized or alienated from them, that they're just people just like them, and they're not lazy. They're just in a bad situation, and it's up to us to create some type of model to get them out of that situation.
That's correct, because, you know, it's unfortunate that our media has propagated the stereotypical images of what homeless people are about. I mean, you know, the only time you ever see, I'm not going to say all the time, okay, but most of the time when you see homeless people represented in the media, they done fell off a train and broke their leg or something, or they done killed somebody, or they're all dirty and disheveled and everything, but they never show the clean-cut, well-dressed individuals out there looking for work.
Mm-hmm.
They never show the families striving to get back into the mainstream, okay? You never see the kids trying to reemerge back into the mainstream. And there are many homeless youths out there, by the way, okay? And that's unfortunate, because mainstream media is the most powerful influence on our culture, and they don't do their job, okay? They make me extremely angry, okay, that I have to create my own media to counter what they do, to tell the truth that they don't tell.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, the mainstream media is just the fourth branch of the government.
Right.
And it's that story that is getting out there. It's from 6 organizations that own pretty much every single mainstream media organization
mega corporations,
that exists.
yes.
Exactly. So it's much like it's up to us to hold our government accountable and hold the agencies that touch our lives day to day accountable. The same is said for our media. And like you've done, sometimes the answer is just to create an alternative outside of what is considered status quo. Well, I guess same with Safe Park, you know, an alternative outside of traditional to fill in that gap. Because you and I both, whether it's homelessness or, you know, the plethora of areas that we're in, we see these gaps. And if it's not us that fill in these gaps, those gaps are going to continue there.
Yes, without a doubt. So, just like John is saying, we can't depend on the government. It's about you and me, all right? And my own personal opinion on this is that if you want to assist the homeless or those in poverty, you need to help the agencies that provide services to the homeless. This is me talking right now, okay? Not necessarily John. He may or may not agree. You'll get the opportunity to say so in a second. But the thing is that the agencies that provide services to the homeless, they've had to downsize because of they're not getting the grants and the monies like they used to. They've had to close programs. They've had to lay off very important and good people. So therefore, they've had to downsize. And in order for them to be successful, they need your support. Okay, they cannot do this by themselves, and the government is not going to help them entirely. All right, you need to. There's Our Family Services, there's Open End, there's Wingspan, there's a number of agencies around town. Youth on Their Own, Stand Up for Kids. Okay, find out who they are. Call them, see what they need, see if they need your help. Assist them in this process. The homeless are not going to get off the street without you.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And I have at least 5 or 6 people contact me every week saying, okay, I want to help. How can I do that? I want to help Safe Park. I want to help homeless people. What is that process? And everybody's different. Everybody has just different skills. Everybody has different passions and different things that they enjoy doing. But the main thing is just do something. Whether it's, like you said, go help out Our Family Services or Primavera or La Frontera or the plethora of other groups that are helping homeless. Or a big thing that's been happening at Safe Park is people just come down and do whatever they want. Like today, for example, we had a group called the Tribe Tucson came down, about 15, 20 of them, just groups of friends and family, set up tables, serve potatoes and salad and brownies and burritos and water to about 40 or 50 people. And that's been the model, is just going out and helping homeless people the best you can. My biggest suggestion I always give to people is buy a whole bunch of socks and just go around and hand them to homeless people.
Right.
Because that connection that people make when they physically exchange something and help somebody with something, people don't realize it, but that's a secret. That's one of the best feelings that you can have, is giving something to someone that really, really needs it and making their life better.
Right.
And yeah, there's some big problems in solving these different issues within homelessness, but the first step is having compassion and building this critical mass of people that are compassionate to this issue. Because without that critical mass, we have no political influence, we have no political power, we have nothing except for a group of poor people trying to make it easier for other poor people.
And that's correct. So it's not that hard. I mean, I'm sure many of you out there have thought, well, what can I do? But just like John said, go out and buy some socks, some underwear, you know what I'm saying? Maybe some deodorant, bars of soap, okay? Not all necessarily all at once. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money, all right? Homeless people are all over the place. They'll all appreciate. They'll probably appreciate your attendance to them more than anything else, more than just a gift, that you recognize them, that you see them. Okay? Many homeless people are used to not being seen. So we're going to have to wind down this program. I think our half hour is almost up. I want to thank you, John, for being on my show.
It was a pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you, brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
really.
Also, I want to say thank you for being such a good mentor. Like, you might not even realize it, but I watch a lot of what you do. I've read a lot of your teachings, and it's people like you that make it easier for guys like me to do this type of work. So I thank you.
What can I say? I've been there. I was homeless. I was an active crack addict at the same time. A lot of people assisted me in the process of getting back to mainstream. So I'm just trying to give back as best I can.
Thank you so much, brother.
Yes. Thank you for watching. the Homeless Youth Project TV show. Good night.